Hello, and welcome to Need to Know Westford. I'm Beth Morrison.
And I'm Kathy Ricketson.
And we're happy to have you here today with us. And our guest this morning is Angela Harkness, our town moderator. And we're talking all things annual town meeting, which is coming up soon on March 22nd.
Thank you for having me.
We're delighted to have you back to talk about our upcoming annual town meeting. And we really want to get right down to it because every town meeting is important. So let's talk about what's important for this year's town meeting and what we need to know.
Sounds good. So town meeting will be on March 22nd, starting at 9 a.m. at Westford Academy. Check-in will begin at 8 a.m. for anyone who wants to arrive early, so you can be assured of getting in and getting your seat. We are preparing for up to 2,000 people. We'll have 3 rooms available, but we'll fill them in order. So the gym will be filled first, then the PAC, then the aux gym. Parking will be at Westford Academy. Please park there until that's full. If that becomes full, then we'll have overflow parking at Robinson and Crisafulli with buses back and forth to Westford Academy. But again, the buses won't run unless and until Westford Academy is full, so please park there first. Okay. Try to carpool, and we'll also be serving both coffee and lunch.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a great partnership this year with the Roots program at Westford Academy, and the participants in that program will be serving coffee in the cafeteria from 8 to 10. And then we'll have a pasta bar lunch served by the cafeteria staff when we do break for lunch.
Wow, that alone makes it all worthwhile.
Although I did enjoy the food trucks, but it was like a long line to get
That's true.
to get your food.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a practical matter, the food trucks didn't work. They really didn't work out for any of the vendors, and none of them felt like they made enough money to do it again.
Yeah.
So we'll just fall back on our own resources here in Westford.
It was fun to try. We recently interviewed the town clerk, and we know that you work closely with the town manager and the town clerk on logistics. And our technology continues to be upgraded with more poll pads and these contingency plans. So are you going to have those big monitors as available?
Yes, we will. And in addition to that, the Wi-Fi has been upgraded in the gym, so that will be a help for all of us. We also continue to work with the Commission on Disabilities, and we've got lots of parking spaces for people with accessibility issues. We also have Braille clickers and hearing assist devices, and we'll have some laptops available for folks who need to be able to see closed captioning up close.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we have a section for masks mandatory and another section for those with accessibility issues who need to sit up close.
Can you talk a little bit about the remote voting? I know that was something new. I think if you're a person with disability, you can have proxy voting, I think it's called.
Yes, there is proxy voting. And just to make it clear, state law does not allow for remote voting at town meeting. Under state law, you must be present at town meeting in order to participate and vote. However, the Americans with Disabilities Act, which as a federal law takes precedence over our state law, says that we have to provide accessible voting to everyone who's a registered voter. So under that Americans with Disability Act, if a person cannot attend town meeting as a result of a disability, then they can contact Town Hall and we will make accommodations, whatever accommodations are necessary, up to and including having a proxy available at the meeting.
So, parking, transportation.
Oh, I had one more question about parking. How are you going to get the word out? Like if the parking lot is full at Westford Academy, like is there some way that people can check and see before they go if it's full?
Yeah. So the police department's great at that. We've done that before when we did have a full parking lot at Westford Academy. I think in addition to putting signage up at the door, they'll post it on their webpage and also have WestfordCAT do what they can to broadcast it.
And they diverted people at Patton Road as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to predict numbers for town meeting. Do you do an estimate based on variables like the so-called hot button issues, or how can we give you a better sense of how many people are going to show up?
Yeah.
Should there be an RSVP?
This is the biggest challenge, estimating how many people to expect at town meeting because so much depends on that. The town manager has put out a survey. Folks can go to the introduction page at the town website and they'll find access to a survey where they can say whether or not they're coming. This is sometimes reliable, sometimes not. I don't think it's something we can absolutely depend on. It gives us some vague idea of how many people are going to come. And I think the way we've chosen to address this is just to prepare for a lot of people no matter what. And if we have less people show up, at least we're prepared for the number of people that we get.
And is there childcare this year?
There is, once again, both free transportation and free childcare. The childcare is provided by the rec department, and that's on site. Transportation is provided by the Cameron Senior Center. You have to sign up for both of them in advance, and you can find links to those signups on the moderators page and also on the town meeting page of the town's website.
Okay. And of course, you could call the senior center as well.
Or the rec department, yes.
Okay.
So what do you think will be the hot topics at town meeting this year?
Well, it's always hard to know what the hot topics are going to be. Sometimes you think something's going to take 2 minutes and it turns out you're discussing it for a half hour. So the only way I can judge is by what I've heard people having questions about at the various meetings, pre-town meeting meetings where these things are discussed. My opinion is we probably have some discussion about the Robinson School feasibility study, perhaps about the replacement of the turf for the nutting ball fields, perhaps the specialized energy code to provide additional energy conservation, perhaps a new fire truck, always everybody's favorite topic.
And sidewalks. Sidewalks are always a hot one.
Sidewalks can be. And we also have a citizens petition to change the date for the voting for town offices from a Tuesday to a Saturday.
So let's talk about the budget. So town meeting is our legislative branch of government. So the town budget, any appropriations have to pass town meeting. So it's kind of fun pretending we're Congress. So, and if these appropriations are passed, they are implemented, right? You know.
Yes. Yes. Well, I don't know how much fun it would be to be Congress right now, but
yes, that's very true.
But here in Westford, it is fun, and it's not just fun; it's really important. We are the legislative body of the community at town meeting, and the budget can't be passed, the money can't be spent unless we vote to spend it. And at town meeting, you can ask questions, you can make arguments, you can try to amend motions. It really is an essential aspect of life in our community, particularly at the annual town meeting where, as you said, we're passing the budget. This is the entire budget for the town for the year 2026, the fiscal year 2026, and every aspect of it is important. People think that attending town meeting can be very boring, and I will be the first to admit it's not always a thrilling thing to do.
It's a business meeting.
Yeah, it's a business meeting, but I guarantee if you sit through a town meeting, you will find something that you suddenly realize directly affects you, your friends, or your family. And I think it's really important to be there to help make those decisions and to vote on those things.
Right, and I think it's also important, like all the town staff are available to answer questions, and I think the information is conveyed very concisely. So, hopefully we're not there too long. We can, stay on task, and you do a great job of keep the meeting moving, and the clickers actually have been great in helping keeping the meeting moving too, with our votes tabulated in a timely manner. So I think it's an important meeting, and, every aspect of your life in Westford, from your trash collection to the roads being plowed, the town common being maintained, your students at school, your senior center, it's all impacted. It's all in the budget. So it's
yes, well
important.
Put. And in terms of keeping the meeting moving, we allow people who are presenting motions 6 minutes and speakers at the microphone 2 minutes. And the reason for that is so that we can get a concise picture of what the motion is in that 6 minutes. And then various folks can ask the questions that are top of their mind and have those answered by, as you said, the staff who has the expertise and experience to answer them. And that really does keep the meeting moving in a way that allows us to be very efficient.
And there's always interesting questions.
Always.
Always, and things you're not considering. And what I've always found, I think the most fulfilling thing about attending town meeting has been when the discussion changes my mind. I learn, and then suddenly your vote changes from what you thought it was going to be going in, perhaps. Another thing that people, I think, need to know is how long committees and boards prepare to work on the issues that come before the town meeting. Can you talk a little bit about that process so that people understand it better?
Sure. Some of the committees, like the Finance Committee, are constantly working on what they're going to present at town meeting. The Finance Committee is presenting a budget along with the town manager, and they're constantly working on that all year long.
Thank you, Beth.
Yes, thank you, Beth. And
Yes, we finished our book, so it's out on the town website. You can all go and read our Finance Committee book.
And for those
we worked very hard on that.
For those who don't know what she's talking about, the Finance Committee actually puts out a book which has every line item in the budget in it, as well as an explanation of various things and an introduction about town meeting and how that's going to take place. Am I leaving anything out there, Beth? It's a very worthwhile read.
Yeah, I think every department has a summary of like what changes were made and why, and this is our recommended budget.
And that takes a lot of time and effort, a huge amount of time and effort. The Select Board is another group that's constantly working on things that are going to come up at town meeting. They work on a lot of other stuff as well, but many of the motions that come up at town meeting come up through the town manager's office and the Select Board. The School Committee, likewise, is working on things all year long that are often brought to town meeting as a result. And the Planning Board is another board that brings things to town meeting, zoning changes and things of that nature. So those four boards are constantly working on all year long. The volunteers who serve on those boards are working all year long to bring stuff to town meeting. And there are many, many other committees who do as well. The Clean Energy and Sustainability Committee has a motion on that they've been working very hard on. The Community Preservation Committee every year has various projects on the town meeting that they work hard to put together. And in addition to that, there's a period of about 6 to 8 weeks just prior to town meeting when all of these boards are putting the finishing touches on the articles that are going to be presented at town meeting. Those are the meetings I usually go to just to get an idea of what's going on, but they do a lot more than that.
It's another big part of your job. You attend many meetings preparing for the big one.
And I also think it's important that I think sometimes people think that the Select Board, the Finance Committee, puts these things out there and approves them, but we actually are recommending them to town meeting, that it's not ultimately approved until town meeting has a say and votes.
Correct.
So
town meeting is the decider.
Right. And another exciting aspect of town meeting is it's a joint session. If you want to come into that gym, you see the Select Board, you see the Finance Committee, you see a lot of people who are on, serving the town in all of these different capacities, and there they are. And another part that I've always appreciated is when someone does a presentation, many of the committees of volunteers will come to the mic, like the Affordable Housing Committee, for instance, and they will weigh in on an issue that pertains to something that they've considered. So the feedback in that time provides a lot of clarification on different issues. I want to bring up something that a lot of people do talk about, especially since we've had our mega meetings that have taken our breath away in many ways, that many people wonder about the future of town meeting. And you've presided over lesser turnouts, COVID turnouts, and these massive numbers that have shown up for issues that people feel are so important. Do you have any thoughts about the future of town meeting and the form of government we have by the people?
To a certain extent, I'm a bit limited on what I can say because any change to our form of government would come before town meeting and I would be the presiding officer over that. So really shouldn't be expressing a lot of opinion. But what I can tell you about is what seems to be happening. People all over Massachusetts are having this discussion. Is this the appropriate way for us to continue having democracy in our community? Is it too hard for people to come to the meeting? Is the discussion worthwhile? Is there a better way to do it? Is there a better way for people to attend town meeting? Is a different form of government better for us? The fact that these discussions are going on, I think, indicates that there'll likely be some change. It may not be the same in every community, but I think we can anticipate that the vast changes in technology that we've had in the last 20 years, coupled with the increase in the size of our populations in many towns, are going to lead to some kind of a change. I think I can say that whatever change we have will be a positive one. And I can say that because I know that town meeting, which is going to preside over the change, not me, but town meeting will make that decision, will look at and think about it carefully, will take into account all the experience that we've had with town meeting over the last 300 years, and will make the right decision for our community.
In our Commonwealth, each community functions as a laboratory to a certain extent. So we do know towns that are doing meetings by representation and so on. And nothing has proven to be the perfect solution so far. Sometimes elected representatives aren't present at the town meeting, and that can cause a problem as well. So there's no perfect solution that anyone's come up with yet, but I think it's an ongoing discussion with our technological advances.
I agree. And I would point at the use of clickers that we've implemented and that many, many towns have implemented in the last couple of years.
I appreciate it so much.
It's been such a huge benefit to us. And everybody was a little nervous about it because nobody likes change. But once we did it, it worked really well.
The fact that it's a closed system, the fact that it feels very secure, but also I so appreciated that we could borrow from other towns when we had particularly large turnouts. And you're watching the numbers on the board too. And that is also interesting. It would feel so slow now to go back.
Yes.
It really would, because we all remember those very long votes of standing and sitting and standing and sitting. So I guess, what else do we need to know about Town Meeting 2025?
One new thing this year, and it's 2 sessions that are called Ask the Moderator. People often come up to me at the end of the meeting with suggestions or questions, and so I wanted to provide another forum for them to do that in a very casual way. So on Tuesday, the 18th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Town Hall, and on Thursday, March 20th, from 10 a.m. to noon at Town Hall, I'll be there, and you can come in. Anyone can come in, make a suggestion, ask a question about the existing warrant for this meeting, or just a general question about town meeting. Please, I'm happy to accept any suggestions or have a conversation with you, or just introduce myself to you and say hi. And I hope people will come.
I think that's a wonderful idea. It's exciting to know that our moderator is having her own town hall, and it's actually a town hall. I just attended our Congresswoman's town hall.
And we also have the League of Women Voters will be doing their annual town meeting preview.
And that is on the 13th, March 13th. And that's very important. So not only do we encourage people to attend, but also you can watch that on WestfordCAT, and it'll also be recorded for later viewing.
Just a good idea to get a sense of what we're going to be voting on, and kind of think about if you have any questions so you're prepared for town meeting.
Yeah, that's a great preview where they go over each and every article, so you'll have an idea of everything that's coming forward. And I think you can register for that it's a Zoom registration, I believe. Yeah. So you can find the registration for that on the League webpage.
Yes, and I encourage people to sign up for the League newsletter, which is fantastic. So a lot of work goes into that, and I always learn so much during the preview. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for doing this every year. It's been a great boon to the community.
We look forward to next year.
Yeah. I'm excited for town meeting. Hopefully it will be a good community day, and hopefully the weather will be nice, and not too nice, though, that you want to be outside and not in the gym.
So just to review, remember, there's free childcare on site provided by the rec department. There is transportation available for anyone who needs it from Cameron Senior Center buses should we overflow the parking lots at Westford Academy. And also for anyone with disabilities, they can be in touch to receive some help and assistance for participation in town meeting.
Yeah. So
if
the
they can't
disabilities, you would
attend.
contact Town Hall.
Yes.
And the free transportation, you can contact the Cameron Senior Center. You can also find links for all of those things on the moderator's webpage.
Okay, wonderful. Well,
I think we're prepared.
I think we're prepared. Spring is coming. Let's hope we have a great weather that day and a great turnout.
That's
Thank
great.
you
I'll see you
so
then.
much. See you then.
See you there.